Hello Tentacrew. Today, I would like to take you through my early access first impressions of Monster Sanctuary, an indie monster collector slash Metroidvania mashup from Team 17. This group has had many successful titles under the belt such as Overcooked, My Time in Portia, and Blasphemous, just to name a few. So, what exactly is Monster Sanctuary? As I said before, it is a monster collection game akin more closely to Temtem in how the combat plays than Pokemon, mashed together with dungeon exploration and ability-locked secrets and areas that any fan of Hollow Knight will be more than familiar with. You choose from a female or male monster keeper, and then get to pick your bloodline, which is this game's way telling you to choose a starter. There are 4 to choose from: a spectral wolf, toad, eagle, and lion, each with dual typing and slightly different stat distributions. The choice isn't super important though, as the opening area has plenty of types to balance out whatever starter you pick. And after that you're off to hatch all the monster babies and be the best / worst monster parent ever, both nurturing and loving them while simultaneously raising them to fight to the death for the protection of you and those around you. The game's art style is a great blend of simple but effective that any pixel art fan will be instantly at home with. Same thing with the musical scores. Nothing groundbreaking here, but it does its job to give each area a unique vibe and adds to the sense of wonder and exploration that you would expect from a Metroidvania. And when I say exploration, you will be. Each Mon, while having its unique combat moves, will also have an ability outside of combat. Say you're using a flying Mon. You can grab a hold of them to gain a little more distance and height in your jumps. And if you need a switch held down to open a door, I know a fun guy for the job. It is really interesting how they have made the monsters the centerpiece of not only the combat but the platforming and puzzle solving as well, and one of the most distinguishing aspects of this game. And speaking of combat, the fights are activated whenever you run into a Mon in the overworld. This gives you the ability to completely bypass fights if you don't feel like it, as well as see what Mons would be in a fight if you are looking to add a specific one to your collection. When in a fight, each enemy has its typing, strengths, and weaknesses, as well as the types of abilities it will use on display, giving you the chance to pick from your 6 equipped Mons the best team of 3 for the job. Choosing wisely is imperative to success in this game, as early in the game you are held pretty gently, just to be dropped on your head in Area 2 by a difficulty spike that will actually see you needing tactics and planning to best these Mons in a timely manner, if you best them at all. The combat is your standard monster fighter type, choosing abilities that range from buffs, debuffs, attacks, and so on. Each ability for both you and the enemy Mons costs mana, which is displayed below the health bars. At the start of your turn, mana is replenished, but not always to full depending on the mana regen that monster has. If a Mon doesn't have enough mana for an attack, it is grayed out, or in the case of tier 2 abilities, it is scaled down to a lower costing tier 1 variant. There is always a basic attack available that is free if you want to take a turn to recharge. Combat, being 3v3, adds more depth, as monsters you bring in to counter one may be countered by a second monster in the enemy group. This makes target choice, as well as ability choice, all that much more important. To add another layer of complexity, Monster Sanctuary has a combo system. When it's your team's turn to attack, you can choose any order for your Mons to act in. Each ability has multiple hits, and the more hits you do, the more damage the next Mon will do in turn. This feature makes it important to front-load your turn with buffs and attacks with multiple hits, so that by the last monster in your group, you can have a grand finale. The pacing of the combat at the beginning felt a bit sluggish, as most of the enemies were more focused on healing back damage rather than attacking, causing fights to seem to drag on, even though victory was assuredly mine. But by Area 2, this problem was non-existent, with the only reason for fights to drag on being my poor team compositions. Once defeated, monsters drop golden loot that you can use to purchase and level up equipment, as well as a chance for a monster egg of the types you are facing, and they also give XP to every monster in the 6 that you have equipped, not just the 3 that we're fighting. These eggs can be hatched instantly, and is the game's way of acquiring new monsters. This is in my opinion both a blessing and a curse, as it shakes up monster acquisition enough from the other games in the genre to be interesting, that also adds a grind that some players may not be keen on. It hasn't taken me more than 10 fights with any monster to acquire an egg, but I can imagine the rarity will go up in later stages. XP is used to level up monsters, and when they do, they will get skill points available to them. These can then be spent on each mon's unique skill tree, full of new abilities, stat increases, auras that infect the entire group, and more. Don't stress too much about skill point acquisition though, as it seems that skill resets are pretty regularly available. The last part of monster customization comes in the form of food and equipment. Food is pretty straightforward. You feed the mons food, and they gain boosts in stats related to the last 3 things that they ate. Equipment functions similarly, with each mon having a weapon slot and 3 accessories. Weapons tend to boost offensive traits and have unique abilities such as mana regen or crit chance, while accessories tend to be more defense and utility based. And the good thing is any mon can equip any weapon or accessory, so feel free to experiment. Overall, I'm thoroughly enjoying my time with Monster Sanctuary, and I feel like it has dug out its spot in the growing genres that it encompasses. The game currently has 60 monsters, and the team promises 100 plus monsters by full launch, as well as promises for PvP. The game is currently available on Steam Early Access for $18, but a Switch port is promised. But if you're still unsure, a demo of the game is available for free so that you can dip your toes in before making the dive. But I'm sure you'll soon realize the water's just fine.